Okay, I will call the meeting of the Troy Township Trustee Board on this March the 3rd of 2026 at 5 o'clock, and we will now say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I will turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Christine.
Welcome.
Do you have an
So
agenda?
we are here today to present and discuss the annual financial report for the Troy Township office. By the way, you know, I had been making public notice in the newspaper, but now the public notice is on the board out here.
Okay.
And so you'll see it if you go out. I went out and checked to see if anybody had taken it down, but it's still up.
So that replaces the newspaper or
Yeah.
just in addition?
Replaces the newspaper, and it's
Public
I have it out there
notice?
— 48 hours in advance.
Okay,
And I think that's all that's required for a regular meeting, right? Unless you're doing
Yeah,
allocation or something like that, additional appropriation.
yeah, and that probably requires 10 days.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think you have to post it in the paper, the appropriation.
I'll
I think that's,
I'll
didn't
look
we, don't, isn't that the one that we usually always have to post is the appropriation if there's a change in the budget or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'll look, I'll confirm it.
Yeah.
Confirm it. So thanks for mentioning that. So I've handed out notebooks to everybody, and I have an order of wanting to go through it, and we'll try to do that. So what I'd like to do first is go to the back section. You have a divider. It might say Gateway on it. Does it say Gateway? Yeah. And this is the Gateway report. Now, I regret to tell you that the Gateway report is not 100% accurate. And I've been trying to work with the technical support guys from State Board of Accounts, and they hadn't been figured out either.
what's
So
wrong?
I'll mention to you what the discrepancies are, and then a lot of information in here is correct, but there's some real major incorrect entries. So if you go to page 2, and you'll notice that it lists the funds that we have, and also it lists the CDs that we have. And if you look at that, it says that we have CDs of 39, 91, 63, and 59, 70, 95. And both of those CDs are both over $100,000.
Right.
So that's just not correct. And the guy who's helping me from the State Board of Accounts admits it's not correct, but he couldn't figure out how to solve it. He eventually told me to replace it with the correct numbers, but I can't figure out how to
Well, what about
make it accept numbers.
going up to the bank and talking to them?
Well,
No. To,
It's not the CD.
yeah,
okay.
there's something else.
Do you think this
I
is
think
the interest
Christine-
that's earned last year? Would this be interest instead of like the actual, do you know how much interest they earned?
Yeah, I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the correct numbers when we go back to the first section. So what I've done is I manually produced a spreadsheet with the correct numbers. And when we're done, I think everybody here will know as much about our finances as I know, or close. Okay, so let's go from there to page 3. And it says detailed receipts. Now, these receipts, the total at least is accurate. But we'll go through these when we go back to section 1. I'm just pointing out that I don't want to say the whole report's inaccurate. Part of it's inaccurate. let's go to page 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Page, I got a little red markers here. Yeah, page 6. Now, this is interesting, and I think this is mostly, if not completely accurate, or pretty close, but it shows you every disbursement that we made in 2025. So if someone was really interested and wanted to go through and look, you could see all the disbursements, and we're talking about probably hundreds of disbursements. And it separates it by fund, and then it just gives you the disbursement. If you go to page 8, I randomly grabbed page 8, and you go halfway down, you see Cotton Mill Apartments for $800. So that's an example of the level of detail that you can find in this. This is the 23-page annual financial report that comes out of Gateway. And so this is the example of what you can see by looking at this report. I'm going to show you a report I like better, which is the one I made up. But we'll do that here in a minute. If you go to page 13, by the way, if there's any questions, please stop me. I didn't mean to rush off without saying that.
Is Gateway the program, state program where it logs the information?
It is. It doesn't. It's not where we log it. But it is a state program, and it does go out and grab the information.
It goes out and grabs it.
It does. And we log it, and I'll show you that here in a minute. We log it in a different program.
Okay, and then it goes and picks it up.
Gateway grabs
State
it
Board of
from,
Accounts.
The program we log in is called BookWiz. Gateway goes to BookWiz. And it also somehow gets into our checking account information. I don't know how it does it, but it does. If you go to page 13, that's a debt statement, and you'll notice we don't have any debt, the township. Just thought I'd point that out. Page 15, this is our page that says what we pay for rent, and this is accurate. $5,400, $450 a month for our offices there on Jefferson Street. And that continues to be the case for 2026.
I don't think you could ever find anything with utilities included for that amount. You know.
Oh, yeah, it's a deal.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. And it's a nice office. So
It's-
that's
It's, I like it because people can walk to it and they can go to EUCC
it's a good
and
location.
and the electric company and where, yeah,
Yeah,
it's walkable or
Yeah.
bikeable.
what she's referring to, Dave, is we have 3 entities that hand out money to people that are in need. There's probably more, I'm not sure, maybe Lincoln Hills, I'm not sure, but,
I'm pretty familiar with most of that. I worked
Okay.
at the welfare department for 8.5 years.
oh, okay, so you know,
I mean, we referred a lot of people, and then I actually did a release program thing at the prison where we come up with those places.
okay,
You know, did those type of referrals.
okay. So, and that once we took over, we sat down with Sister Shelley and with Gregory at EUCC, and we agreed, there have been some
For years.
disagreements about who goes first, and we agreed that we would go first. And actually, I like that because we can I can pay or agree to pay any amount I want, and I'm not as much pressure like, oh, I've only got $53 more. Can you pay the rest of that? It's easier, I think, for us to set the amount that we want to pay. But the other 2 guys, they don't like going first, so it's a perfect marriage. But that's how that works. Okay, on page 17, you see capital assets. And we don't have many capital assets. In fact, I consider our computer system maybe that JR was not happy with us about to be our only capital asset. And this is the same number that we had last year. So how do you decide how much is a capital asset worth and what do the file cabinets count? I don't know.
Well, I think your furniture is probably at max depreciation, and you have to look at the IRS depreciation standard. Whatever the percentage is that you can depreciate off of it, and then you calculate your asset.
So the question is,
that's what I would do.
Have we done that? I don't know.
I don't know, but you got all new equipment, so it's probably at the top of its value right now. Like you just got it in 25, right?
The computer.
And the
you mentioned the furniture, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned the furniture, but he did get all new equipment. Yeah, like you said on computer.
But the furniture is older,
Yes.
probably fully depreciated.
Right.
And the chairs, the newest edition, the chairs, they were all donated.
Right.
So I don't think we can count any of that as a true asset on our ledger.
Right.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, that's just a guess, $3,125. We don't have a lot, whatever is the case. We don't have to worry about some of that like some other government agencies have to worry. Aha, let's see, let's go to page 20. This is the beginning of the number of requests. This is a township assistance ledger. And you can see in there the number of requests and the amount of money that it costs. And then it breaks it down in some cases to utilities and housing assistance, food assistance, burials, which we do. We have, Warren Taylor has a body right now. We might be doing a burial on the body that nobody will claim, for example.
Did I tell you that cremation went up? I did, didn't I? Cremation,
You might have.
yeah, it went up. I saw the sign that it was what?
that-
How much
was
was
that
it?
locally?
$150 before?
Yeah, I think it's like, it went up like
Was
maybe,
that locally?
well, it's who they
Evansville.
use. It's all, the people that own it are out of Spencer County, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
okay.
But they have it in Evansville and all the surrounding
Well,
areas, and they
So-
service this area, and it's called Simple Cremation. That's who we've used.
Okay. Well, so Warren told me to go to them,
Simple
Open House in
That's
Rockport.
Rockport, yeah.
And they were doing it for like $895.
Oh, that's much cheaper, because I think it might be up to $1,300 or $1,400 on the Simple Cremation.
That won't be too bad. I mean, that's.
Yeah,
We got, well, obviously we got budget for it.
right.
Yep. Some people handle all of that. We don't, it's pretty simple what we have to do. All right, one more page. We'll go to page 23. Please indicate if your unit offers any of these pension plans to your employees. Well, 4 of the 5 employees sit here, and JR's the 5th. And you guys know we don't have pension plans.
Yeah.
That's 0. All right, let's go back to the first page of the notebook. If there are no questions on the official report. And this is a summary. This first page is a summary of the money that we have. And so if you look at it, the first 2 lines there is the checking account at the end of 2024. $317,107. And then at the end of 25, we're at $347,759. That's a good thing because it went up.
Yeah.
We also have 2 CDs. You'll see the
There's your amounts.
next items are for the CDs, and you asked a question about how much interest for CD, what I'm calling CD 1. We earned $5,431 of interest, which took us from $163,000 to $169,000. And then CD2 went from $107,000 to $112,000, $4,600. And if you do the math, that was a 3.3% return on CD1. Some of that has to do with how it falls, how many months and where it hits.
Yeah.
And CD2 was 4.3%. Now, we've got CD1 reinvested for 13 months, and it comes due in August. And so what we have to do is we have to go over there in August and make a decision about what CD to buy, because if you don't, they'll take it down to less than 1%.
Right.
So
And I would just advise you to call around and get rates, because sometimes they might,
Old National might not have them.
no, they might do the same rate. They'll match rates.
Yeah, I'm saying, they may not have the best rate.
Yeah, but say if Hoosier Hills has whatever percent,
Okay.
then I would call and say, would you do the same if you don't want to change banks, institutions? A lot of times they'll match rates. I don't know if Old National does, but I know that in the past, other banks I've dealt with have.
Hoosier Hills is really good about matching. Find something that's got a better rate.
Yeah, I don't
I
mind
don't know
asking.
about German American.
Okay. So if you add all that up, entering 2025, at the end of 2024, we had $588,000 rounded off. And then entering this year, we have $628,000 for a gain of $40,708.83. Now, again, the way the CDs fall and et cetera, I don't know if that's perfect, but I do know that we have more money than we did.
Yeah.
And that's really good.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
Looks good, laid out good on the form. It's laid out here good for us to read. It looks good.
Oh, good, yeah.
See?
I wanted to make sure it was
Compliment me.
easy. Yeah, yeah.
Or should I
had-
say, Leanne?
I read these first two
No,
pages.
this is all Steve.
Okay. Okay.
By the way, I have these first two pages posted over there with the post. Okay, so let's look at receipts and disbursements. That's page 2 here. Basically, what I've got here is we receive, and I'm not sure why I put some of them in italics. I think that was an accident. We receive tax revenue, and that's how we get money to operate. And so in 2025, we received $138,877.68 of general property tax. And then there's a local income tax, and we get this every month. We get it month by month. And that was $39,236. There's a vehicle aircraft license tax, so basically the license tax, but they throw the aircraft on there, so I guess they must tax the aircraft as well. $4,876. Then there's a financial institution tax, $2,333, and a commercial vehicle excise tax for $808. And then we had 3 miscellaneous receipts. One was council fire department refund. I guess we must have given them too much money. One was refund from Jenny Bruner. And then we had checking account interest. And the story on the checking account interest is that they stopped paying us in February. And while I was researching all these numbers here, I was able to determine, hey, they're not giving us interest over Old National. So I called Old National up and they were like, well, I don't know why we're not giving you interest, and it wouldn't cost you any money to switch back over to interest bearing. So we're back over in interest bearing, and at least thus far, I have not been able to recoup any of the interest that we missed. So next year, when you see this same entry, it should be significantly larger. Now, how much is it? Oh, it's about $20. It's not
Yeah.
life changing, but it's still irritating.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said 20, but $2. So that in February, we got 77 cents because they had stopped it sometime in February. So we got about $2.50 in January. So when I said $20, I was thinking the whole year. Anyway, it's a small amount. I just wanted to mention it for the reason of being totally transparent. Okay, so total receipts of $189,834.67. Then we go to disbursements. And so I've got this split up. First of all, I have this total disbursements. And we spent $178,177. We had budgeted $175,390. So we went over by $27.89. However, there's this category, and I've got it laid out there where it says 2025 payroll withholding. I still have to figure out what happened there, but there was no budget for that. And I'm not even sure. I can't figure out why we have salaries and then we have payroll withholding.
That's your FICA.
Separate.
That's your FICA and things.
Yeah, I understand, but.
Yeah, so when West Terry or whatever does your payroll.
Yeah.
That would be that, so that number's not.
Well, but wouldn't that come out of our pay? Like if you
But you pay a
1,200 board
portion,
member,
you pay a portion, and then we pay a portion.
I understand, but if I give you 1,200, they're not gonna have more than that accounted for. They're gonna take that
Well, you have to
out
pay,
of the 1,200.
right, the Social Security though, and our FICA, like, it's a split between the two, like, so it's around about 10% of whatever you make. And our accountant would have to tell you how much that is. But we have to pay a portion by law. And then, because we withhold that money and
Oh,
pay it
that's
into the state
This is the portion that the trustee office.
that we have to pay.
Well, what you pay is already taken.
Right, that comes out of your check, but we are required to pay part of it too, unless you're like an independent contractor or whatever like that, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what that is, but it wasn't budgeted for, and it's still not in the budget. And
Well, it has to be,
and
it's
I'm
part of
working on it.
payroll, it's part of payroll, it's gotta be put in there.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to pay it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not officially in the budget.
Has it been submitted to the state?
Has
Has
the budget-
somebody been paying that for us through West Terry's office? Like, are they remitting that money every time?
Well, yes, I think is the answer to your question.
Okay, we need to make sure, that's really important. We don't want to get in trouble with the Department of Revenue.
Well, I think this money is being paid,
Okay.
but it's just not reflected in our budget.
Okay.
So our budget could be.
Do you take a
Could
check?
be $1 million, and that doesn't really reflect, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but somebody has to be remitting a check for us. So if it's not you,
I've never paid one.
Well, it would be good to check on.
yeah, then it's gotta, like, it may be included in what you're paying our accountant.
Yeah,
That's
Like
what
the
I think they're
monthly-
paying it.
The monthly amount that you pay them or quarterly amount may include that. They'll give you a number of how much their fee is and then how much that to pay into each one for
Yeah,
your
you-
we know
payroll
what their fee is.
on top of that.
Yeah.
So, but if it's not being paid, we need to make sure it's paid.
Okay, again,
check
I'm,
tomorrow.
Okay.
as you can tell, I'm a little confused by it, but I have been trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And talk
So
to
it's
Mark
about
Terry.
like, I don't know, 15%, about, and then depends on what tax bracket or whatever, but your part has to be paid and it comes out of your check. But this part actually we have to have an account with the state and that has to be remitted.
But if you,
Never been told to do that since
Okay.
I started, so I don't know. Jenny, she didn't tell us anything like that, so.
Well, the accountant may be doing it. It may be part, but they'll tell you each month or each quarter how much it is.
suffice to say that this is not right and we need to figure it out. Which is why I put it on here. I wanted you guys, again, I want to be totally transparent.
Mhm.
But, so if you take that out of it, if the idea that wasn't budgeted for out of it, we actually were under our budget by $1,364, which is pretty close to the budget, which I like that. My goal, since we've taken over, has been to spend all the money, but not exceed budget. I take the budget really seriously.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty close.
Yeah.
If you look at it, 174,000 spending versus 175,390 budget.
Right.
Anyway, any other questions or anything, Wendy, on that?
No, but that's really important that we check on that.
Okay, got it. And then we go down through the various funds. We were under on the general fund by $3,700, and we were over on the Township Assistance Fund by $1,280. If I'm going to go over in any fund, I would prefer it to be a Township Assistance. Firefighting, we knew coming in, we were told when we first were appointed that we were going to have to do a additional appropriation request for firefighting. So
Because we picked up Anderson Township.
Anderson Township.
We had no idea they were covering us as a primary until, last year. Larry
Yeah.
came in and said, we cover like 2,000 or whatever citizens of your area. So it was news to us that they were the primary for us in a large area.
So 1,129 over. I think, me personally, all in all, I'm satisfied and happy with how everything
Yeah.
unfolded there. Now, if you look at the last line, this tells us spending versus receipts. 178,000 versus almost 190,000. So again, we had more receipts than we did spending,
Yeah.
which I like.
Yep.
I think that, it's been hard as far as people and their income and their expenses this past year. And that's a variable that we don't have a lot of control over, is the cost of how much our electric bills went up and the cost of, gas increase. Both of those happened in the last, couple of years. So,
So are you talking about the people who are?
because their bills are more, so
Yeah.
that, of course, you've had to pay more.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to follow up on that and say, we have historically, and we adopted them, certain limits as to how much we'll pay when someone comes in. I've got a utility bill, and I believe our limit's $300 is our normal limit.
We only pay 150 right now.
Right now, I understand, that's what I'm gonna say. So, what I do in order to keep us from going way over, like in the first 2 weeks of January, we went way over. We were gonna spend 3 or 4 times our budget for the year if we kept it at that rate.
That's
So we cut the
January.
maximum for utilities back from 300 to 150. And by the way, we're almost where we're even again, and we'll go back up. So that's how we control our spending, is by controlling the maximum limits. And sometimes, and right now, if you come to our window, you'll see it's posted that the new limits are 150 instead of 300. Just so, people, and honestly, people, people worry about people scamming us and stuff like that, and we've seen so little of that. I mean, people have been actually needing the money and been, even though we have our limits cut back, genuinely thankful for receiving assistance,
Yeah.
So it's that this system of changing the limit, I think, works.
Yes.
All right. Let's go to page 3 and 4. I thought it would just be interesting for you to see our descriptive page for the CDs. One, as you can see, has a maturity date of May 11th, and it's $111,744. And the second one has the maturity date of August 28th, $166,169.
Yeah.
And we'll just turn those over and keep on getting interest is the plan. All right, let's go to 5. Now, these next 3 pages, mostly just 2, but comes out of BookWiz. And we know because every time we give someone money or every time we get a deposit on the local income tax, Leanne enters it into BookWiz. So we know, unless she made a transcription error, which she would never do, we know these numbers are right. Okay. So I think you can pretty much trust these numbers. And so if you wanted to know how much did we disperse this year for various categories, it shows you. And you can see like the township board salaries, 3 people, $1,200 apiece, $3,600. The trustee salary does not equal the amount budgeted, but you remember we had a short period of time in June May, June, where people had resigned, and so that I think that's the reason that didn't turn out to be exactly the amount. And then you can go down through there and see other various things. Now, one thing I'd like to mention about this is we have the numbers that you see that says budgeted. Those are numbers that evolved over the half year that Leanne and I were in office here. We are not allowed to move money from fund to fund. And Dave, there's 4 different funds. There's a general fund, and the township assistance fund, a firefighting fund, and there's a rainy day fund. But within the funds, the rainy day fund is just one line item, but the other ones have multiple line items, and we can move money back and forth. So if we have, and this is what happened, we had, if you go to the next page, which would be page 6, we had quite an unbelievable amount of demand for public utility, and we didn't have the budget for it. The budgetary money was in other line items. So we moved some significant amount of money from different line items into public utilities. That's an example.
What about rent? We're
That's what I was
over,
looking at that.
we're over 71% in rent
See that?
payment.
Yeah, I was getting ready here about 4 o'clock today, and I saw that. I said,
That's a
Wendy's-
lot of
Wendy's
money.
gonna ask me about that.
That's a lot of money right there. And, you know, it makes me think, are we proofing these people's income and stuff if we're that much over?
No, that's just
You think that number's wrong?
I think it's a trustee error
Okay.
is what it is, because we, again, for rent then, an example of what we've done with rent is we've also cut back the maximum limit on rent for a while. Because we had a lot of people in early January need help with rent. So, again, as I said, at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I was looking that over and said, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, and next year we need to make sure that we make that line item for the maintenance for Anjan to maintain the computers, so we're not over again on that.
Yeah, and so 2 things. One, I agree, but secondly, we won't have as much in that line item this year because, we've hardly talked to him.
Yeah, it's just good to have though, that way, anytime you have a problem, you have a fund there that he can come in and work on your computer or update software or whatever's needed,
Yes, you're absolutely right. And so
A lot of times
You'll
they'll just
notice
give you
that-
like a
you'll
maintenance.
notice that we have it used to have a different name, by the way. If you go with first page 5, and you go down about 3/4 of the way down, it says computer software maintenance.
Mhm.
And we have, in that budget, we have $3,979. Now, one of the reasons we have that much in there is because we just presented that bill from the work he did in 2025, and it was $3,125. But we do have a line item for that now.
Yeah, that's good.
And we can switch money over from other spots if we need to. Like, for instance, we have $700 in travel expense. Probably not going to spend that, I don't think. That's an example. And when you look at care of cemeteries, we've got a couple hundred extra in that as well. So we have some possibilities there.
What's other direct relief? What is that?
Just in case something happens we never thought of.
Like what?
That's honestly, it's not that's all it is. It's something that gives us the ability to switch it over into computer software and maintenance if we have to. Actually, wait a minute, no, that's in Township Assistance.
Yeah, it's in assistance. It couldn't be that.
Well, you'll notice, let's see.
Because we pay some bills to Ohio Valley Gas, and you see there's not a category for that. So that's the other direct relief that's where I take it.
What did we spend that on, do you remember?
Ohio Valley Gas bills that we just started getting, people bringing in.
No,
That should be under,
in 2025, we spent $551.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the Ohio Valley Gas.
but that should go under public utility.
Yeah.
There is Ohio Valley Gas Township Assistance paid out at $1,268.
Well, that's just the item, those are the individual itemized, yeah. But like on this
I'm
ledger,
just kind of totaling that up.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you were, diligent and went back to the second section where it had all those disbursements, you'd probably find them.
So That we don't really, it's just like an overflow if someone needed like,
Yeah, something comes up that we don't think will fit in one of these other categories, then we have some float. But that's the same amount we had last year.
we just need to find out what that's actually used for and what it can be used for.
Well, it can be used for anything, in my opinion. I mean, as far as any township assistance, not the general fund stuff.
Right.
Okay, and you see firefighting there as well. And it doesn't have it broken out, but basically firefighting is, there's a contract number that we pay, and there's insurance that we pay a portion of, and then there's some money for equipment. And all three of the, or all four of, like you mentioned, Anderson now, all four of the firefighting, volunteer firefighting departments, that's what they pull from. And then you see the capital, we used the rainy day equipment last year for that computer.
On page 7 is your withholding for your payroll.
Yeah, I know it is.
So
But it's
that's
not-
what I was
But
worried
it's
about.
not budgeted.
But
So
that's-
we need to get it in the budget if it's gonna be taken,
Yeah,
if it's gonna be dispersed.
well, that makes me feel better. It's being paid. Because we were gonna have penalties if it wasn't actually being paid.
I was pretty sure it's being paid.
Okay. Okay.
But how it's being paid, it's not being paid where Leanne writes a check. It's just,
Deducted. It's probably set up that way.
it's set up that way
Yeah.
somehow.
Probably my guess is West Terry's office, our accountant, our CPA is entering it in and they've set it up to auto draft from the account. So if you ever change accounts, you have to let them know, like if you ever change banks or
Yeah,
whatever,
okay.
you would have to tell them because it would draft from the wrong account. But yeah,
We'll talk to them.
yeah. Well, it's being paid. That's what I was worried about. So
Let's go to pages 8 and 9. That's just a rack up. This comes out of Book Whiz. And it's a rack up of the receipts, the tax receipts. So you can see the amounts, and then on the right-hand side, what each one of them is. And even the other, there's the $2.66 of interest and the 77 cents of interest. That shows all of the receipts. All right. The last thing I wanted to show you is, and I think you guys know this, but I thought I would include it here. And that is in 10 and 11, these are the Form 22s that show, it's the certificates of tax distribution, which we get one in June, and actually, I think last year we got one in November, but I thought it was December. But I think we got it in November. So I just thought it would be interesting for you to see that we get a Form 22 that details all the tax revenue.
Okay.
Okay. That's my annual financial report. Any questions or?
Got a bunch of questions.
Okay.
So many of the banks are giving vertical checking. You're dealing with Old National. Why aren't they, as much money as you got in your checking account, why aren't they giving you a better interest rate? I mean, some of those vertical checkings are 3.5%, almost like a CD. They use it like a money market.
I don't know the answer, but I will ask. I never knew that it was possible.
With that much money, well, some of the banks, you see banks that are, you hear about them advertising the vertical checking, which is 3.5, right around that. But, and it may not be that high, but even if you got 2% on your money with that much sitting there, you're gonna get quite a bit of money, quite a bit of extra money going into your accounts.
Yeah.
They ought to work out some way to do with $300,000 in checking. You know what,
It's not that much.
wasn't it about 300,000 when you're checking? They ought to work out something with you. They're making a boatload of money off of you with money market.
2% of that would be $6,000 or $7,000.
I don't know why they wouldn't be able to do that and tell them you're gonna go shopping if they don't. Find who's doing that. There's a couple of banks I know that's been doing that. The other thing is on the Anderson Township,
Yes, sir.
with the fire department. Some of the fire departments out in the county, they actually charge people or else they don't show up. Are they charging your customers to show up?
No, they don't. You don't have to. They do not monitor that. That is a donation that you can make. It's not required, but that's how they've always sustained.
Well,
So
I know
they do. They will show up whether you paid your bill or not.
I know in the past, there were people that they told they would not show up.
I don't believe that. We asked that question.
I'm just telling you, I know people that.
If they
honest
receive
people
government,
that-
if they receive funding, especially government funding,
Really
they have to.
Good,
They have to.
honest person would be paying their dues,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And it's only $40
Right.
in Anderson. I'm in that group.
But we did clarify that. Is it required that are you making people pay that before you show up? Absolutely not. We provide this service and they told us how many households they cover and how many people approximately that equals, that they're the primary fire service. And then they're also secondary fire service
Right.
for us too. So, which means like, how many times have they had to come into town for larger fires,
Yeah.
So,
But all the townships kind of do that, though. They end up helping out. I mean,
Yeah, they overlap.
Branchville, everybody and their brother shows up if there's a fire somewhere, a forest fire or whatever else. So that's just kind of the general understanding that if you got something big,
They're gonna show up.
somebody's gonna show up.
Yeah. Now, are they gonna know you guys didn't pay the $40? I mean, in the back of their mind, they probably know who's paid and who's not. But it is only $40 for the year, and it's very easy to pay, I would think.
I understand, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, are they requiring that of the people in your township? And if they are, then you wouldn't be obligated to the payment. If your people are paying that, then the obligation you all are making wouldn't be something that you had to pay them for.
well, that's not exactly true. The reason for that is they were not supported governmentally at all. And they are required by law to provide certain things, like their equipment has to be a certain age. They have to provide insurance for their fire. And that's what the townships were actually set up for indigent and for fire and for parks.
I understand.
And then,
I understand all.
yeah.
What I'm saying is, they've got a township, and they should be getting money from their township. And ours, but if they're coming over and charging our people.
because we're primary.
beyond-
We are primary. Like there was how many households was it? I mean, you can go back and listen to the tape, I'm sure, because it was I don't know, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was 20% of or more of our township was their primary.
Yeah.
And they did not even understand that the map was covering so much, I guess, that we should be supporting them for that. So they are actually going into the other townships and also soliciting to them. It wasn't just us. So Anderson, they're asking that township to support that percentage in which is covered in Anderson. And we only pay a percentage of what is covered. It's not the same as, so Cannleton, We give them out based on like the people that are in Camden, and then based on Tell City, and then based on the percentage that Anderson does primary. We don't pay secondary.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're gonna figure out your question, but my impression, my belief has been that we're just one of various income flows they've got to support that activity. So they would maybe consider us, well, we're getting reporting from this many people, so you can pay less. I think they would consider us to be, you pay that amount anyway. And also, by the way, they ask us, so they come in and say, you know what, this year we'd like to increase it by $500 or whatever it is. And then the old trustee, I guess I could disagree, but so far I've agreed with everything they've asked for. So that's part of it also.
I was just curious. I mean,
No, it's good.
because, you know, I mean, you know, if they're getting payment for, like they do in their own township, pay over a certain period, what is the obligation?
I will tell you, if you look at what we paid out to, I should have brought that, I have a spreadsheet. But to Tell City, it was like 16,000 something dollars. And what we paid out to Anderson was like $5,000. So
It's
yes.
based on the number of households that they cover primary is what we kind of went by. They've reported to us how many fires they've responded to, primary and secondary. They reported to us that they were always told or under the impression that they could actually not receive funding or something like that. Like
Right.
they didn't even have accurate information
Right.
that that's what we are here for,
Yeah.
you know.
Which is why we didn't budget for
Right.
Anderson.
I guess the question, and now that we're talking, there's no other fire department that actually considers them as a primary fire department for them, Troy's or Tell Cities or whatever out indicates that they're county people, I would say.
Well, do you know that new subdivision that was
Right.
built out on Highway 37, the Highlands? That's brand new.
Right.
So all of that came in, and that is Anderson. So anything that's like Bark Hempstead and like 237 part of it and up is Anderson.
Right.
Those fire maps, we don't have one in here, but there is a fire map, I believe, in the office if you want to look at it. And also, each township would be happy to meet with you if you
We've
want
got
to.
the fire maps. But
Mhm.
basically the northern edge of Troy Township is what Anderson has some what Wendy's talking about. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do that?
You wanna talk through these?
No, everybody got the minutes before the
Yeah.
meeting.
So she's passed out minutes from our last meeting, our last one.
And I was just asking that question because I would rather somebody be covered than not covered.
Yeah.
Are they double covered is what I was asking.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, you know, we don't want anybody not to be covered, that's not.
Well,
But they are going to come. They are going to show up.
Yeah, and I would strongly disagree anytime someone tells you that they're not gonna show up to a fire, because that's not how this community works
Right.
at all. So I would dig deep into that conversation. And this isn't proper what we're doing right here. Like, there is a time when we have agendas that you can come forward and you can speak for, because we are required by law to put this on video. And right now, they can't even hear you.
I was just asking a question, because, you know, you was talking about, because of the budget part, it wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
That's all.
We don't,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
And with it, I mean, you're not spending that much for them. I mean, you're not putting that much out to them anyway.
Right.
But, you know, it's,
I know for a fact they'd be happy to share their budget with you.
It's fine. I just, in the past, I always speak with, of people who I know that are, that are very honest, there's too much rhetoric. I worked in I worked with the
I gotta
welfare
go.
department and the prison, and I know
Are we
there's too
gonna
much,
adjourn
a
soon,
lot
or
of
do you
stuff
want me to
being
go over
said
the
that
minutes?
isn't whatever.
Do you wanna adjourn or go over the minutes? I've got to go. I've got a meeting at 6.
Any other questions?
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm ready to adjourn.
Okay, I'll call this, I motion to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right.
Anybody want to second it?
I second it.
All right,
We'll just hold those minutes, I guess, for the next meeting.
sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
I turned them into Leanne.
Yeah. I saw, I read them today.
Okay,
I appreciate that.
okay.
Anyway, appreciate you. Thanks for indulging me whenever I have a question.
Yeah.
No, thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
There is a spot on our agendas. This is a different meeting. There is a spot on the agendas for public comments, and at that time, you just have to come up with your comment. But the back and forth, in the middle of it shouldn't happen.
We'll have another board meeting in April.
Okay, all right, let me know. Thank you. Sorry I have to run.
Bye. I can go ahead and end it, right?
All right. Oh, all right.